Sightings. I'm Tim White. After many years of reviewing home video of supposed UFOs, it takes a lot to impress the Sightings investigative team. But what you're about to see is among the most intriguing UFO footage we've ever broadcast. A brilliant disc-shaped craft hovered over Salida, Colorado for more than an hour. Tim Edwards has spent most of his life in Salida, Colorado. He runs the cafe his dad started 20 years ago. Tim's heard his whole life about fireballs, mutilated cattle, and UFO sightings in the valley. He never thought it would happen to him, but then it did. On the morning of August 27th, 1995, Tim recorded this videotape.
See it going? Do you see it?
Approximately 9:30, my daughter Brandy came out here, and she has said that she looked up in the sky to see if it was going to rain that day.
If it was going to rain or lightning or something, we couldn't go camping, so I looked up and I saw it.
I looked up again, and I see a very intense, bright, shimmering white light. At times it appeared to be a boomerang shape, too, or a slight arc.
Tim called his restaurant to see if anyone else had sighted the UFO. Cook Michael Maggio told him he'd take a look.
Come out here, about right here, look beyond the door, and I could see the three flashes come off that looked like boomerangs, and it was bright white.
Then a fourth witness, Tim's 15-year-old daughter, Lorraine, saw the UFO.
At first, I thought those guys were crazy. I was like, that's dumb. And then when it started moving around, I was like, couldn't believe it.
Michael Curta is MUFON's chief investigator in Colorado. He's been researching UFO activity in the San Luis Valley for several years.
Mr. Edwards' video is some of the best footage that I've seen, purely for the fact that, number one, it's a daylight sighting. There are multiple witnesses. It's a very large object, or appears to be a very large object, and we just don't get that many credible, good daylight sightings.
Sightings asked Chip Peterson to study the Edwards videotape. Peterson is an aerospace engineer specializing in computer enhancement and stabilization.
When you look at moving video, what you're actually seeing is 30 frames per second flipping on the screen very quickly, and that's what we've got right here. What you're seeing here is the edge of each frame that I had to stabilize by hand in order to keep this object in the center of the screen. So after you stabilize the image, you can see its motion much more clearly. Based on what I know of atmospheric flight, it doesn't look like any conventional aircraft.
Could it be otherworldly technology? Yes, it could. Could it be military aircraft? Yes, it could. Could it be some unexplained weather phenomena? That's also possible. And there's an awful lot of strange things that occur in the mysterious Valley of Colorado, and this is racking up to be one of them.
The San Luis Valley is 5,000 square miles of fertile Colorado pasture land, the largest, cleanest alpine meadow in the world. It's also a UFO hotspot. Recently, people here sighted huge fireballs streaking across the sky.
Over on this mountain range, we've seen the orange orbs that come down and sit or just race right across the mountain range.
This bright blue oval was traveling at the speed one would expect a meteor, and it stopped instantly and started straight down.
We saw lights come off of this side of the mountain over here, come clear across and go over the top of these mountains on this side. This light came across all the way across and no sound whatsoever.
For 10 years, researcher Chris O'Brien has studied more than 100 bizarre animal mutilations in the valley and their potential link to UFO activity.
The activity that we experienced in November through January was quite incredible. We saw so much activity here. We had green fireballs, blue fireballs, squadrons of blinking lights traveling too fast to be conventional aircraft, and then soon on the heels of many of these sightings, we had incredible military activity.
On January 12, 1994, the most spectacular UFO sighting to date occurred when an enormous arc of fiery orbs raced across the afternoon sky. Among the eyewitnesses was a retired 30-year Air Force veteran, pilot Jimmy Lloyd.
They were extremely bright, like strobes, a green color. There were 7 of them in a semicircular formation. They looked as big as a battleship and very fast. They were going at hypersonic speed, yet there was no sound wave.
Within hours of the sighting, became clear that Colonel Lloyd was not the only one interested in the sighting. In nearby Monte Vista, Colorado, the local sheriff received a phone call from the North American Air Defense Command.
The Rio Grande County Sheriff's Office got a call from NORAD saying that one of their satellites had picked up a significant burst of heat up on Greeny Mountain.
The information to us from NORAD that night that we needed to exhaust all efforts to determine what this explosion was.
At NORAD's urgent request, the sheriff dispatched planes and a ground crew to search for the source of the explosion. But as the team neared Greeny Mountain, they were waved off.
When they called us in originally, they gave us coordinates. Explosion took place here. So many degrees latitude, so many degrees longitude. Then we called them back and they said, well, it happened on these coordinates, which are completely different, probably 20 miles away, 15 miles away out of contact.
Had NORAD really been off by more than 20 miles? Or did they want the search team out of the area?
We did our extensive search and couldn't come up with anything. I called NORAD directly and was in contact with Major McCouch. He kind of blew it off. He said, if we can't find it, don't worry about it. If we can't find it, it never happened, and that it was no more of our concern.
In an effort to determine what really happened, Sightings asked aerospace analyst Ron Rieger to access satellite data collected in the area on the day in question. Rieger has concluded that there was a significant heat flash on January 12, 1994.
I did talk with one of the analysts at work, and they confirmed both the event, the time, and the location, and added the comment that this did not appear to be a forest fire.
The cause of the explosion, recorded by NORAD and confirmed through satellite data, remains a mystery, as do the many UFO sightings that continue to be recorded in the San Luis Valley. If the military has any answers, they're not telling. The lack of information is particularly disturbing to Tim Edwards, who has the dubious distinction of owning the best footage of one of the area's many UFOs.
I've been obsessed, almost, my family thinks, with trying to get the information, the facts out of this case and the truth, and getting this out to the public and bringing witnesses forward.
One thing that sustains Tim Edwards and UFO researchers in the valley is the knowledge that UFO activity here is not just a cosmic flash in the pan. The local paper records sightings today just as it did more than 80 years ago. Back then, eyewitnesses asked one simple question, and it's the same question people are still asking. The selected tape is consistent with a number of reports sightings has received about UFOs in the four-state area of Colorado, Nevada, Arizona, and New Mexico. We're continuing to pursue these reports and will bring you extended coverage on an upcoming edition of Sightings.